Hi everyone, this is a second short video on how to sit for meditation, and this time we're going to look at how to sit on a chair. In the first video that I did where I was sitting on the floor, I mentioned that the position of your legs is not really the most important part of your meditation posture, but rather the position of your spine. And in my experience, for a fair number of people, it's actually going to be much easier and more comfortable to sit on a chair rather than on the floor in the more traditional way. So if you can sit on the floor and that's comfortable for you, wonderful. Otherwise, if you're having a lot of discomfort, a lot of trouble trying to sit on the floor, go for a chair, because really in your meditation posture, you want to be able to be comfortable. And if you can sit with a straight spine, that's the most important thing. So today I've got my chair organized, and I'll just look at how to sit on a chair, the basics. So first of all, if you haven't watched the first video, just quickly check out what I did in terms of standing up and just feeling the position of your spine standing up, because that's how we're going to start also with sitting on a chair. So basically what you want to do is stand up, stand comfortably normally with a relatively straight spine, and then feel your lower back and feel the natural inside curve, slight inside curve of your lower back. And then when you sit down, either on the floor or on a chair, then you want to have a similar curve, especially in your lower back, because that's going to be what dictates the position of the rest of your spine, or the rest of your spine is going to be built up on that. So start by doing the same thing, standing up, feeling your lower back, and then when you're ready, get a chair. Now, first of all, a few things about the chair to use. So here's the chair I'm going to be using today. It's just one of the chairs I had around the house. What you really want to do is don't use a chair that is, ideally don't use a chair that's leaning back. A lot of modern chairs, the seat of the chair is kind of leaning back, and it encourages you to lean back into the back support, and it actually makes it really hard to sit on the chair comfortably with a relatively natural curve in your spine. So try and find a chair that's flat on the bottom, or if not flat, even inclined a tiny little bit forward can be helpful, but definitely not leaning back. Okay, so other than that, you want to find a chair that's relatively firm. You don't want to sit on a chair with a really, really soft cushion, because again, as I said last time, if you're sitting on something really soft, your body's just going to sink down, and possibly alignment of your pelvis is going to shift, and it's going to be much harder to sit with a naturally straight spine, natural curves in your spine. So ideally a wooden chair or something firm to sit on is great. So then we'll just get up onto the chair. And to start with, you're going to do the same movements that we did when we were sitting on the floor. We're going to just feel and compare the position of our lower back when we were standing. So you try and feel your lower back and find out the position of your pelvis that you need to have, so that you've got that same slightly concave, slightly inward curve in your lower back, as close as possible to when you were standing. So last time I showed this from the side, I'll do it again. So you're just feeling the curve of your lower back, and you're tilting your pelvis a bit forward and then a bit back, forward and back, just getting the feeling of that movement. And then for most people, what works well is to tilt forward just as far as you can comfortably, and then back off a little bit. So that's tilt forward just as far as you can comfortably, back off a little bit, just a tiny bit. And you'll probably find that that is about the right curve, close to the same curve as when you were standing, of your lower back when you're sitting in a chair. Okay, so try that. Once you've arranged the position of your lower back, again, that's the most important thing. From there, one more point before we just arrange the rest of the body. One more point, you don't want to be sitting too low. If you're sitting too low, what's going to happen is if your knees are above the level of your hips, above the level of your hip joints, then what's going to happen is that the weight of your legs is going to be pushing yourself backwards, and you're going to be fighting against gravity and trying to pull yourself forwards, right? So you don't want your knees higher than your hips. If they are, it means you're too low. So what to do? If you've got relatively long legs like me, you want to use a higher chair, or if you don't have a high enough chair, give yourself a support on your chair. So again, you can take some sort of a firm support like you would use when you were sitting on the floor and put it on your chair. So I'll just put that on the seat. Again, you don't want it to be too soft, you want it to be a firm woolen blanket or bolster or something like that. Then sit a little bit towards the front. Now, when I'm sitting with a chair with a back support, as most chairs have, you don't want to be leaning in the back support, obviously. So you're going to be sitting slightly forward in the chair, finding that natural curve of your lower back, making sure that your knees are either level or even slightly lower than your hip joints. And then all you want to do from there, feet about hip distance apart, just comfortable. And from there, we're just going to arrange the rest of our spine once the lower back's arranged. So just as when you were sitting on the floor, you can roll your shoulders back, open your chest, and then having done that, let go of your shoulders. Don't hold tension in your arms and your shoulders. Let the weight of your arms just hang. Let your hands come wherever they come to easily, naturally, on your knees or on your thighs. And finally, your head and neck. You're just going to feel as though there's a slender thread that is drawing the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, and as you do that, you might feel your chin just naturally coming in and back a little bit, back of your neck getting a little bit longer. So that's the basics of how to do the same thing with your spine sitting on a chair as one of the more classical meditation postures of sitting on the floor. So again, main thing is really the position of your spine. You're not so concerned about the position of your legs. There are some useful advantages to sitting in one of the more traditional meditation postures. So that's why people have traditionally used those postures, but the most important thing is your spine. So in whatever position you can sit to get your spine naturally aligned, that's a good meditation posture. Okay, so that's all for this video. I'll probably do one more short video just talking about some of the finer points of the meditation posture and also trying to cover some of the really common questions that very often come up in classes when people are trying the posture out, when people are working with it over weeks and months. So we'll try and have one more video just to talk about some of those things. Okay, so wish you good meditations and see you next time.